Am I the a-hole for telling my ex-husband his newest children are nothing to me and my extended family? My ex-husband and I share custody of our 2 children, 12 and 10. Our marriage ended in a way that caused a lot of conflict and resentment. He turned somewhat emotionally abusive when he told me he was done and said he found me disgusting and repulsive, that he had wanted to cheat so many times because the thought of sticking it in me made him want to puke. He'd been off for a little while prior to that, but the outburst was unexpected. It was unsettling because he'd brushed off his mood as work stress, and then he just unleashed all that stuff onto me. He later confessed to cheating twice. Any hope for us to be friendly after the divorce ended with how he ended things. My family all hate him for how he spoke to me, but the kids don't know. I never wanted to drag them into this, and once he wasn't treating them the same way, I was happy they weren't mixed up in everything. After a couple of years, my ex-husband tried to act like nothing bad had gone down, but I put some firm boundaries in place. I don't answer social calls or texts and eventually got a co-parenting app in place to make communication better. I still can't block him, but it means I don't need to respond via text at all. He attempted to act all buddy-buddy when his new wife was expecting their first child together, and he even tried to suggest that my extended family could come to the baby shower. None of them were ever going to go, and I certainly wasn't. But he's had this weird expectation for a while. This bubbled over recently when we were attending a meeting with our youngest child's teacher. My ex-husband complained that my parents had seen him, his wife, and all the kids in public, but hugged our kids and kept things distant with him, his wife, and their children together. He said they were already walking away, but one of his younger kids wanted a hug. He said they never make the effort to be in his younger kids' lives, and he complained that I never make the effort either. He said we're all one family in some way or another. This is where I might have been an a-hole, because I told him his newest children are nothing to me and my extended family. That yes, they are the half-siblings of my kids, but I am not their aunt, or their kind of mom figure, or their family friend. I told him he destroyed any chance for friendship with how he treated me, and that my family wasn't going to forget it either. We didn't talk again about it during the meeting or after. I left immediately. But my ex-husband has texted repeatedly since then, telling me how wrong it is to consider his children nothing, and how our kids must be picking up on it because they treat each other better than the younger kids. That was the first I heard of it, but the repeated texts have gone unanswered by me. Still, I can see where I may have been wrong to say that. So, am I the a-hole? Your ex is a whole new level of delusional holy god. They treat each other better than the younger kids. Obviously, they don't have the same connection. The other kids seem much younger too, so what exactly was he expecting? He expected them to adore the younger kids, and for half to not enter the equation. Incredible. He really thought the divorce wouldn't impact him negatively at all, did he? He wanted it to at first, or to break all ties between us. But then he changed his mind. It's always such a sudden shift with him. I assume he has never even tried to apologize or make up for the wretched way he treated you. Not that it really matters, but it makes his current behavior even more galling. Does his new wife know about how he behaved? That might be one possible avenue to get him to drop this entitled BS. He never tried to apologize. He just started acting one day like we were buddies, instead of him being repulsed by me. I believe she does know, but she and I don't really deal with each other. Not the a-hole. He is a very delusional. I can't understand why he expects you and your family to embrace children that are nothing to do with you. Also, after the way he insulted you, he can go to hell. Because then he and his wife can have alone time, while he sends all the kids to OP and her family. I get the feeling he's looking for babysitters. Next story. Am I the a-hole for dropping our baby off on my ex-husband and demanding he take the baby every other week even though he wants to be an every other weekend dad? This is so messy. My ex-husband, 29 male, and I, 28 female, originally agreed not to have any children. We live in Texas, and this world just isn't a place I wanted to bring a child into. I also never wanted to be a mother. My IUD failed and I got pregnant. I was devastated because I wouldn't be able to get an abortion since we live in Texas. I wanted to travel out of state to get the procedure, and I wanted him to get a vasectomy since I didn't want to risk this happening again. He refused both. He said he wouldn't take me out of state to terminate, and he made me very scared of criminal charges. He also refused a vasectomy to prevent more children, since he didn't want to mutilate himself. Long story short, I filed for divorce a month after the baby was born. It took a little over 2 months for the divorce to be finalized, which was a month ago. The baby is now 4 months old, and the maternity leave that I was lucky enough to have is up. My ex-husband has moved into his own apartment. I live alone in my home that I owned prior to marriage, which I inherited from my grandparents. My ex-husband has been visiting the baby here and there on weekends, but hasn't had the baby overnight ever. I've suggested it, but he refused. To be honest, I don't really like being a mother. The baby and I just haven't bonded much. I've heard that sometimes it takes a while. I've been overwhelmed and needed a break. I tried calling him and talking to him about agreeing to a custody situation. He blew me off and said he'll let me know when he finds a weekend that works for him. I was really angry. I had this baby largely because of him, or I would have gotten an abortion. I love my baby, but I don't want to be a full-time mom. I want 50-50. I work from home as a software developer. I'm lucky enough to be able to watch the baby while I work so I don't have to pay for daycare. But I need time to be productive with my work. So I figure 1 week I can be unproductive while watching my child, and the next week I can work extra hard to make up for it. My job is flexible, so it'll work for me. My ex was dodging my calls, so I took our son and a diaper bag and showed up at my ex's work. He works as a car salesman. He was shocked to see me, and even more shocked when I handed him the baby. I told him, "We're doing 50-50 custody. You have the baby this week. You can drop him off at my house next Monday." He freaked out and said, "Who will watch the baby while I work?" I suggested he pay for daycare if he needs it. He said he can't afford daycare. We argued and I told him to figure it out. If I have to figure out how to be a mom, he has to figure out how to be a dad. His parents are calling me every name under the damn sun. Meanwhile, they don't want to babysit for him. Am I the a-hole? Edit. For all of you suggesting adoption, I tried that while I was pregnant. Ex refused. I couldn't give the baby up for adoption without his permission. Also, I've contacted a lawyer about getting custody formalized, but I haven't heard back. Go to family court and file a custody agreement where you get the child every other weekend and holidays and you pay child support. That should have been ordered as part of your divorce. How did you get divorced without any order about custody of that baby? A child being with a person who doesn't want them or want to parent them is mentally and emotionally destructive. I did not want a baby. I would have gotten an abortion. Those aren't words a child needs to hear from their primary caregiver and mother. Custody was given to me because the baby is so young and I was still on maternity leave. I was told we could revisit it in the next few months, but me having sole custody for a little bit would speed up the divorce. I've since contacted a family law attorney, but I haven't heard back from him. Everyone sucks here. Find a couple to adopt this baby. Neither of you want it and you both suck for keeping it. I suggested adoption initially, and he said he would never agree to it. I can't give the baby up for adoption without his consent, and it's a little late now anyways. Then force custody through the courts, so you can resent the baby less long-term. I don't resent the baby at all. I resent him. I still want to be a mother to my child at this point, and I'm waiting for the bond to happen. I just don't want to be a single parent. I want him to step up the way I'm stepping up. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not wanting a relationship with my dad's other kids because I don't see him as my dad? My dad moved out of state when I, 16 male, was 1. He didn't fight for any custody or visitation until I was 3, and didn't see me at all in those 2 years either. When he got visitation with me, he sent me back early every single time. My mom had to travel states to pick me up early every summer for years. He was supposed to get every other Christmas, but didn't take that time for years either. And the 2 times he did in the last 4-ish years, he sent me back early then too. Just some examples. The custody order stated that he got 6 weeks with me in the summer and 10 days with me every other Christmas. When I was 6, I was at his place for 3 weeks in the summer, and he told Mom he didn't want me there anymore and that she needed to come pick me up. When I was 8, he had me for 10 days one summer, before having Mom come get me. He had plans with some others. When I was 9, he decided 4 weeks was enough and that he was going away with some girlfriend he had at the time, so he needed me gone. 3 years ago, he insisted I go for Christmas and then called Mom after I was there for 4 days, saying I was going home. Even when I was there and he wasn't busy, he didn't spend time with me. The most time we spent together was during meals, and even that wasn't common. Then he got married and his wife and her kids moved in, and I saw him a little more because she insisted I eat at the table with everyone, so her kids wouldn't learn bad manners. She tried to engage with me a little, but I just waited to go home every summer. I knew it'd be early. Mostly she wanted me to play with her kids, who were younger, because they were curious about me. Last year, my dad kept me the full 6 weeks, and he used me for a lot of babysitting or forced me to leave the house with his wife, her kids, and their kids together. The kids were all excited about me being there and wanted to hold my hand and stuff, which I found annoying and weird. I hated it. My dad wasn't there, and it ticked me off so much that I realized he might be technically my dad, but I only have a mom. My mom and I were back in court after my birthday, and the judge changed the order to say I don't have to go anymore, and it's my choice. So now I'm not going. My dad's wife called about it after everything was official, and she asked me to still come for the kids' sake, because they'll miss seeing me. Her kids and their kids together have called me on their mom's or my dad's phone so many times. They called my mom to ask to speak to me too. One of the kids cried a few weeks ago and asked if I really wasn't coming this summer. There was lots of crying. Now my dad's trying to make me go, and I told him no. I told him he doesn't even want me there. He just wants to do what his kids want, and I told him that's not how it works. I said he isn't even really my dad. He was arguing with me about being a pain in his butt when his wife came on the phone and said I shouldn't punish the kids for my dad. She said whether I see him as my dad or not, I share blood with some of her kids and have been around her other kids since they were really young. She told me they deserve better. I know the kids did nothing wrong, but I feel nothing for them. I don't love them. I don't like them. I don't find them so sweet or so worth knowing. To me, they're just kids. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. The fact that she had kids with him despite his previous record and relationship with you should have told her that he isn't father material. Not the a-hole. I don't think she cared about the type of dad he was to me, as long as he was better to the kids they have together. How are these kids you barely see so attached to you, OP? Not the a-hole. I know their mom encouraged it. They used to try and follow me around when I was at my dad's house, and the younger kids would try to climb on me and stuff. Last story. Am I the a-hole for not laughing when my husband joked about my hobby job in front of his boss? My husband was invited to this work dinner at his boss's house, and his whole office was invited. My husband has a higher paying job than mine, and it doesn't really bother me because I love what I do, but he does lack interest in my work because of it. The first iffy thing was when we were getting ready. He gave me a check, or something like that, where he gave me the rundown of dinner etiquette. I know dinner etiquette. My parents used to host these kinds of dinners all the time. So, yeah, I know how to act and how to behave. All his coworkers were going to the dinner, and they brought their wives with them, so it was pretty packed. Dinner was nice until we were in the dessert portion. My husband's coworkers started talking about their wives and their hobbies. My husband brought up my hobby. I'm a journalist, and I write stuff once in a while. He talked about some of the stuff I've written, describing it as silly. I didn't say anything and smiled awkwardly, but he just kept going, saying he doesn't read my stuff because he doesn't want to be all up in my head. When we got home, I talked to him about the jokes and said I didn't find them funny. Rather, they felt somewhat offensive and disrespectful toward my work. He told me to learn how to take a joke. I tried to ignore it, so I just kept doing my thing. But then he started getting handsy. I rejected his advances because I was still sour about dinner, and he got upset. So we went on and on about the dinner thing. I wasn't even addressing him making fun of me. I was generally upset over the hobby comment because it's not a hobby. It's my line of work, which I love and am very passionate about. He admitted to maybe being in the wrong for the jokes, but said they were based on fact. I grew up significantly wealthier than him. I do not leech off my parents, nor do they send me money out of free will. My parents have never said or done anything to make him feel inferior, and they get along very well. We met when I was going through some sort of hippie phase. I wasn't talking to my parents, and I did not get along well with them at the time. I was some manic pixie dream girl at the time, and I think he got way too attached to that version of me. I was 25. I'm 32 now. He called me dull and compared me to my mom, which isn't bad in and of itself, but he said it as an insult and said I was becoming a suburban mom. We have a son. He's 2. I feel like he doesn't really appreciate me as a person or care about me as much as a husband should for his wife. I get what he's saying, but I'm getting older. I'm a mom, and I'm advancing in my career and have a lot on my plate apart from that. I do love my husband. I married and started a family with him for a reason, but maybe I took the joke too seriously. I'm not sure if I blew it too out of proportion because I asked friends, and they said that maybe I took it too seriously, etc., etc. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole, but here is some brutal honesty. You may love your husband, but either he doesn't love you or he's embarrassed by you. He isn't just insecure. He's an outright a-hole. Telling you you're dull, complaining that you're being a mother instead of whatever he thinks you should be, treating you like you're stupid? The joke is just another in a long line of him abusing you mentally because he isn't happy. So why should you be? I'm sorry, but the moment anyone treated me like that, I would walk out. Love is great, only as long as both people feel it and respect the other. He doesn't respect you. If this isn't stopped now, if a boundary isn't put up with strong consequences, then he will continue on this way. He will teach your child one of 2 things. 1, to treat you this way. That you are stupid. That it's okay to treat a future spouse or partner like this. That this kind of behavior is acceptable. Or 2, he will treat your son the same way. Make fun of him. Not care about how it makes him feel or how it makes him look in front of others. He'll put him down. Beat him down emotionally. And the child will think it's their fault. That they deserve it. That they are bad. People can say this is extreme, but the moment he went from take a joke to being angry that you wouldn't have sex with him and then putting you down is the moment this went from a small tiff to outright abusive behavior. This has nothing to do with the jokes he made. This has to do with how he treats you, how he demeans you, breaks you down. This is him abusing you so he can get whatever satisfaction he can from it. This is you needing to take a stand and stop letting him treat you this way. Your child sees and hears more than you think, and your child is learning at a very fast rate. Don't let them grow up thinking this is okay.